Here's what's coming up on Ignite News. The Canadian Medical Association asked Canadians what they think the problems are in their healthcare system.
I think one of our problems is that our political system is by definition short-sighted.
4 Canadians perform in Chicago at Louder Than a Bomb poetry competition.
They compete with original words. That's usually up to 3 minutes.
There's uncertainty in the future of Olympic wrestling.
Upset about it because the thing is, wrestling is the ultimate man versus man sport.
All that and more coming up on Ignite News.
Good morning and welcome to your Ignite News for Thursday, March 14th. I'm Dimitri Pertikaris.
And I'm Gregory Rosser. Here's what's making news. The world has a new pope. Pope Francis I of Argentina is the first non-European leader of the Catholic Church since 741 AD. 76-year-old Jorge Bergoglio is a Jesuit and the former Archbishop of Buenos Aires. He decided to call himself Francis after Saint Francis of Assisi, who dedicated his life to helping the poor. Francis rejected the papal car, picks up his own luggage, and desires a simpler lifestyle than his predecessors.
A local anti-racism group wants the owner of a downtown Hamilton restaurant charged with a hate crime. Hillbilly Heaven has been displaying a Confederate flag on its storefront. Critics say the flag is a symbol of slavery and intolerance. The Community Coalition Against Racism plans to seek hate crime-related charges against the owner for displaying the flag, but owner Cameron Bailey says dismissing the outrage and says the publicity is actually helping his business. Now, with all that in mind, we took to the halls of Mohawk College to ask if displaying the Confederate flag is controversial.
I think if you portray yourself to other people that you're kind of promoting that, I do think it's a hate crime because it's just taking such a step back considering how far people have come in the last, I don't know how many years.
No, I don't think it's a hate crime because they didn't actually commit an actual physical or mental act upon anybody in particular.
I think it's a freedom of speech actually, because it's something that happened back in the day and the crime is solved right now, right?
I mean, yeah, he should probably, be considerate to everyone else and take it down. I think he's being a jerk about that. But getting the cops involved, I think that's just overboard.
It's just representing the type of food that they have. They shouldn't take it any other way. So that's just my opinion on it.
A University of Toronto study has revealed that children of divorce are more likely to light up a cigarette. Almost half of men and 40% of women whose parents are divorced are likely to smoke, according to the study. Other studies have shown that sons of divorced parents also exhibit higher rates of suicide and substance abuse.
3 years after the Hamilton Spectator's Code Red series stunned the city, the Canadian Medical Association visited Mohawk College to talk public health. Ignite News reporter Neil Reyes has the story.
A panelist said the first step to fixing a problem is identifying it. At a town hall hosted by the Canadian Medical Association and Maclean's magazine at Mohawk's McIntyre Theatre, Hamiltonians did just that.
How many times has anyone in your entire educational career, has anyone ever mentioned the words social determinants of health? When it's worth 65 or it has 65, 70% of our health outcome, you'd think that we should be talking about it possibly from grade 1.
The discussion was inspired by the Code Red series, which found that a person's life expectancy may be directly related to the socioeconomic status specific to where they grew up in Hamilton. The Code Red series, published in the Hamilton Spectator nearly 3 years ago, prompted major scrutiny of the public health and wellness system in Hamilton. Former Hamilton Family Health Services Director and current Senior Nursing Consultant at Simon Fraser University, Debbie Sheehan, says variety will be one solution.
It can be totally overwhelming, and I think we need to kind of recognize that one solution is not going to fit everybody.
Mark Chamberlain is the president of Triveris Limited, a technologies commercialization firm. He thinks community support is going to play a more prominent role.
For various groups within our community, particularly at government levels, business levels, people who have either earned, voted in, or acclaimed positions of influence, of power, they had to start taking a role. And possibly one of the first parts of the role is to understand the impacts it has on their roles, on their businesses, on their communities, on their employees, if we don't do something.
For Dr. Anna Reid, president of the CMA, one major part of the problem is political.
I think one of our problems is that our political system is by definition short-sighted. And so there's not that leadership and vision to see beyond the next electoral cycle, to actually put money into something and actually get the payback.
Obstacles ranging from social and economic barriers to political processing were among the issues raised at the forum. Patients, doctors, nurses, social workers, and others expressed what they saw were holes in the current system.
People actually already know what the problems are. It becomes very clear that the solution is one of needing political will, political leadership, a little bit of imagination, that as a society we actually need to examine our values. Why are we willing to let these inequities exist still?
Reporting from Mohawk College,
McMaster University researchers are excited about the opening of the biggest astronomy project in history. The Hamilton Spectator reports the ALMA Observatory includes 66 antennas spread out across a desert in Chile. McMaster astronomy PhD student Maximilian Scherm has been awarded research time at the new observatory along with 18 other Canadian scientists. The satellites have the power to observe faraway galaxies and stars unlike any other competing technology.
Canadian youth took part in a poetry competition in Chicago last week, the first time the event went international. As Ignite News reporter Anna Ridden tells us, the event is designed to give marginalized youth a voice.
So either we're face to crazy and emotion so beautiful, so either we're turning our backs to the funerals or we are back to the funeral, back to the backwards of a had a black is so beautiful.
Brian Mulatto is performing his poem at the 13th Louder Than a Bomb Poetry Slam in Chicago. He's one of 4 Canadians that are competing.
12 people, typically 12 people, that's the standard, where they would compete for maybe 2 to 3 rounds, depending, that's the standard as well, where they compete with original works. That's usually up to 3 minutes, and they get scored from 5 pre-selected judges.
The Hamilton Youth Poetry Slam, known as HYPE, is the first Canadian team to compete in Louder Than a Bomb, changing the competition from national to international. Co-founder Kevin Koval explains the competition's roots.
And in the city council was also trying to pass an anti-gang loitering law that was locking up kids of color for hanging out in groups of more than one. And we were in a lot of schools at that time, running around doing creative writing exercises in Chicago high schools, and we found that a lot of our students were being locked up just based off what neighborhood they lived in or what they looked like. And so we wanted in that moment to create a culture of hope in this moment of grand fear.
Canadian Patrick DeBellin explains how he got into poetry.
I wrote this one rant about the education system when I was in high school in grade 12, and then got expelled at my talent show.
See, she told me she was moved by my words when my workshop was over. But these poems she writes in class still can't keep her daddy sober. When I try to guide his wrists, and I tell him it gets better, but he wants the pen to be a sewing needle to the bullet holes of his older brother's sweater, so tell me.
I have a way to connect to youth and to different ages and types of people, and at the same time piss off some suits in the process. Like, it's just the perfect thing. So yeah, after that I just kept writing.
The date is still yet to be determined, but Louder Than a Bomb will be coming to Hamilton for the first time ever this year. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Anna Rittens.
The Charlton Avenue East underpass was said to be safe, but 2 Hamilton residents begged to differ. Diane Clark and her 80-year-old mother received an icy shock Friday afternoon after a large chunk of ice crashed through the car's windshield. The windshield shattered and the ice landed in the car. Clark told the Hamilton Spectator that ice wasn't the only thing that fell. She said something else dented the front corner panel of her car. Luckily, there were no injuries.
The International Olympic Committee is planning to make changes to the 2020 Summer Games, including eliminating wrestling. Ignite News reporter Neil Reyes has the
$4 million worth of heroin was seized at Pearson International Airport in February. Border Services found 10.6 kilograms of the drug in the luggage compartment on a flight from Pakistan on February 19th, according to a statement released on Monday. The drugs have been turned over to Peel Police for investigation.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up in weather, entertainment, and sports.
Hi, I'm Marcy Colbert. Better bundle up because we can expect some cold weather this weekend. More coming up on today's weather forecast.
Hi, I'm Teresa Friesen. Coming up in sports, the Habs squeaked by the Sens and Mika Kiprusoff showed his true form. All this and more coming up in sports.
Hi, I'm Patrick Fenton. Today on entertainment, we have big news for Veronica Mars fans and big trouble for Nintendo. All this and more coming up on entertainment.
And here's a recap of today's top stories. Pope Francis I was appointed in Vatican City yesterday. Public health talks take place at Mohawk this week, and hillbilly heaven controversy continues.
Now, it's been pretty chilly this week. Let's check in with Marcy Colbert for your weather update.
Thanks, Dimitri. We can expect the perfect mix of sun and cloud with chilly temperatures across Ontario today. In Windsor, we can expect a high of -3 degrees. Meanwhile, it's going to be 1 degree warmer in London with a high of -2. In Toronto, the high will be a chilly -4, while down in Niagara Falls, the high will be -3. Right here in the Steel City, we can also expect a high of -3. Looking ahead to the next 24 hours in Hamilton, this evening we can expect some clear skies with chilly temperatures at -4. Overnight, we can expect some periods of light snow with a low of -1. And tomorrow morning, expect more light snow with a high of -2. Looking at the 5-day forecast, tomorrow we can expect a little bit of sun and light snow with a high of 2 and a low of -5. Saturday will be chilly with some more snow, a high of -3 and a low of -5. Sunday, there will be sun and a high of 1 degree, but a freezing low of -9. Next week, we will be warmer with a high of -2, but we can expect some snow, rain, and a low of -7. Finally, Tuesday, the snow will stay with a high of 2 degrees and a low of 0. That's it for me with weather. Let's check in with Pat to see what's happening in entertainment.
Fans of the cult favorite show Veronica Mars have shown just how loyal they are to the series by fronting the money for a movie spin-off themselves. Series creator Rob Thomas and star Kristen Bell started a Kickstarter campaign with the goal of raising the $2 million budget for the movie in a month. On the campaign's first day, they raised the $2 million. Is this the start of a new trend? Could Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money, be next? Director Paul W.S. Anderson has confirmed that he and wife Mila Jovovich will return for the final chapter of his Resident Evil movie series. Anderson has long said he wanted to make a 6th film in the controversial but lucrative franchise, and that it would be the last in the series. The film is tentatively called Resident Evil 6, but the name is expected to change before it's released. It is not yet known which other cast members will return. Let's take a look at what's happening on campus and around Hamilton.
Hey Mohawk, I'm Brittany Medeiros. Here's what's coming up on your community calendar. If you would like to know how to create a safer college community, join the Safe Talk Suicide Awareness Workshop. The workshop will be held in the Fennel campus from 4:30 to 7:30 on March 20th. The workshop will help students develop practical skills to identify people with thoughts of suicide. Come by the McIntyre Theatre March 20th for a Canadian citizenship ceremony. The hour-long event is open to all students and is running from 12 to 1 p.m. Create a resume that will help you get job ready. Stop by room C102 March 20th in the square for help on how to prepare your resume. That's all for me, Mohawk. Let's go back to the newsroom.
A federal jury in New York has found Nintendo infringed on intellectual property rights with the glassless 3D technology on their 3DS handheld system. The jury awarded Seijiro Tomita, a former Sony employee, $30.2 million in damages. Nintendo told video game website IGN that they are confident the verdict will be set aside and this will not affect the company's sales in the United States. That's all for me, Mohawk. Let's pass it over to Teresa for your sports update.
Thanks, Pat. The Sens faced off against the Habs last night in a nail-biter that went to the shootout. The Habs climbed back to first place with a 4-3 victory. Danish center Lars Eller lit the lamp for the Habs with a goal in the first and scored the decisive goal in the shootout. The Flames rallied in the third period last night against the Red Wings, scoring 3 goals for the 5-2 win. Calgary goalie Mika Kiprusoff had a bounce-back game, making 38 saves after being outscored 13-3 on the road in their 3 previous games. History was made last night in the Raptors-Celtics game as Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce both moved up the all-time scoring list. Garnett passed Jerry West and Pierce passed Charles Barkley for the 15th and 20th spots. The Raptors were no match for the Beasts of the East, losing 112-88. The Celtics capped off the game with 63 second-half points. And that's it for sports. Let's pass it back to Dimitri and Greg.
Contrary to popular belief, drinking beer can be good for you. Research has shown that not only on St. Paddy's Day, but any other day, hoisting a pint of Guinness is actually helpful for your heart. Like red wine, drinking dark ale reduces blood clots and helps with the prevention of heart attacks. And Dimitri, the study also showed that 6 pints makes you look like kind of an idiot.
Well, on that note, we wish you all a safe and enjoyable St. Paddy's weekend. That's all your news for Thursday, March 14th. I'm Dimitri Perdicaris.
And I'm Gregory Rosser. For more news coverage, check out our website at ignitenews.ca. Thanks for watching, Mohawk.
Take care.